What happens when a single word, spoken from the sterile halls of economic theory, collides with the harsh reality of everyday life? When does a simple definition become a battleground for political accountability? In the world of high-stakes congressional hearings, language is not merely a tool for communication. It is a weapon. A carefully chosen word can obscure truth, while a poorly chosen one can destroy credibility. We witnessed such a battle unfold when Senator John Kennedy confronted the architects of economic policy over a single, fateful term, transitory. Was it a simple miscalculation, an ambiguous and unclear word, as was later claimed? Or was it a deliberate attempt to downplay a looming economic crisis that would affect millions of Americans? This was not just a debate over semantics. It was a forensic examination of judgment, a test of accountability, and a masterclass in the art of political theater, where one senator used simple, relentless questions to dismantle complex defenses and expose the chasm between Washington's narrative and the people's reality.
The word, of course, transitory is what you're referring to, and I not only believe, but I've said, and this is...
Well, is temporary and transitory, those are synonymous, right?
Yeah, those are they're synonyms. And
okay,
I think
well, tell me why...
But I think transitory was...
Tell me why you thought inflation... I'm going to be accurate. Why in your infinite wisdom, you thought inflation was transitory or temporary?
Well, let me be clear about what we meant at the time. And by the way, and this is contrary to what Ranking Member Scott said earlier, I did not ever say that people didn't understand transitory. What I said was we didn't understand transitory. In fact...
Well, that's clear. We can stipulate to that.
That word that word is temporally ambiguous. It meant different things. To some people it meant 2 weeks, to some people it meant 2 years. What we meant, and let me answer your question, we thought inflation was going to accelerate and gradually cool down over time. Now that has turned out to be in fact, the pattern that inflation has taken. But transitory was much too ambiguous a description of that dynamic. Acceleration, cooling.
So now inflation is down from 9% to 5%. Are you telling me that when you said inflation was transitory, you were correct?
No, I'm not saying I was correct or incorrect. What I'm saying was that was an ambiguous...
Like you're saying you were correct.
No, I'm saying that was an ambiguous and unclear word that was poorly chosen, I think, for that discussion because it meant different things to different people. To me...
Well, has it been transitory?
Inflation has, in fact, behaved much as I just described. We thought inflation was going to accelerate and gradually cool over time, and that is
Chair's going to cut me off. Has it been transitory?
Inflation has accelerated and cooled.
Senator's time's expired. I want to fulfill what you said, that I was going to cut you off.
Yeah.
Senator Van Hollen of Maryland's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to all of you on your nomination.
Thank you, Senator Murray. Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Administrator, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Senator.
I want to talk to you for a second about something that I know you know a lot about, the Michoud Assembly Facility. And thank you for visiting, Bill. We really appreciate you coming out there. I think you came out late in 2021. As you know, this is an 800-acre facility in New Orleans East and employs about 4,000 people. It's 20 public and private entities, and among other things, Michoud Assembly Facility is the formal name. Michoud makes the rocket that will take the Orion spacecraft to the moon and to Mars. We had a rough few years there when we were hit by 2 hurricanes and a flood. And our roof was practically demolished. And NASA has supported, and I'm grateful for that, the money to get the roof repaired. And we're making progress. I was out there a few months ago. But, Mr. Administrator, here's what else we need help with. The administrative buildings were built in 1943. 1943. We're spending $1 million a year just trying to repair them. And now that we've got the roof back, You can't run a facility this large and this sophisticated without smart people administering all the programs. And we just need some help there. Can you give us some help?
Senator, thank you for asking that question,
You're welcome.
because the help, I can plead to you, we need the help.
Okay?
You've probably got $500 million worth of infrastructure that you need at Michoud.
Yeah.
Throughout the agencies, 10 centers plus 10 facilities. We've got $5 billion of infrastructure needs. It took me every skill that I might possess to get $100 million for Virginia and Maryland for a bridge to the Wallops Island launch facility that was going to fall in the water and was going to render that launch center obsolete. And thank goodness that you all passed an emergency appropriation.
Did we get the bridge done?
Finally.
Okay, now can we turn to the administration building at Michoud Assembly Facility?
Senator, if you will appropriate it, I'll come.
We'll appropriate.
And
we will appropriate
I will
it. But I just
deliver-
want to make sure, Mr. Administrator, that once we appropriate it, it's a priority for you.
It absolutely is, and $5 billion. And let me just say how key Michoud is, because it's located next to water and waterways.
Yep.
And so when the contract under Boeing puts together these big cores of this largest rocket, puts it on a barge, engines as well, which eventually come from up in Senator Britt's constituency, and they come down the Tin Tom Waterway and they come to New Orleans, and they're assembled there before they go to Mississippi to the Stennis, and they test these engines, and then they assemble all that together, and then on a barge it goes to the Kennedy Space Center.
Yes.
It's critically located.
Do you mind if I interrupt you, because I'm going to run out of time? If I
Yes,
could have
please.
another 30 seconds to talk to the director here. Mr. Director, in 15 seconds, tell me the purpose of EPSCoR.
The purpose of EPSCoR is to ensure that we make the talent and ideas in all of those regions in our country that have not been given the chance to express in its fullest form.
Let me put it another way. We passed EPSCoR 44 years ago. The problem was that all this money that we were giving you, your agency, was being spent in 10 states. Congress said, we've got smart people all over America. Start spending some of the money in other states. 44 years later, you're still spending the money in 10 states. You're still doing it. Not 4 months, not 4.4 years, 44 years. And I appreciate you creating a new program, granted or grunted or whatever you call it, okay? When are you going to start doing what EPSCoR is supposed to do?
So, Senator, the way I can answer it is, I come from a small state myself, so I understand the opportunities and the
Yeah, but I
potential.
want you to answer my question.
Yeah, I'm going to answer your
Okay?
question.
Don't answer my question, because the chair's been very indulgent here. Answer my question. When are you going to start doing what the statute says you're supposed
Senator,
to
it's
do?
already started. In fact, it's accelerating now. It's accelerating now, making sure that we are able to deliver on the EPSCoR promises that we have made, and the CHIPS and Science Act has even set targets, which I believe that those targets should be exceeded, not even met. So I am deeply committed, the agency is deeply committed to ensuring, and there is metrics associated with that now, so you will see progress. So this situation...
Well, we haven't seen progress in 44 years.
I'm talking about now, Senator, moving forward. I am committed, as the director now, I'm committed to delivering on the progress.
Okay. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator John Kennedy's performance in this hearing is a quintessential display of his strategic approach to public questioning, an approach that blends the tenacity of a courtroom prosecutor with the calculated folksiness of a populist politician. His methodology is not designed to gently uncover facts, but to construct a clear, compelling narrative of governmental incompetence or evasion for the public record. This is achieved through a masterful control of logic, attitude, and reactive adaptation. His logical framework is built on a foundation of relentless simplicity. When confronting Dr. Bernstein about the term transitory, Kennedy strategically ignores the nuanced economic explanations offered. Instead, he collapses the entire complex issue into a single binary question. Has it been transitory? This is a classic rhetorical trap. By refusing to engage with the explanation that inflation would accelerate and gradually cool down, Kennedy forces the witness into a corner. Any answer other than a simple no appears evasive. His central argument is not about the economic pattern itself, but about the failure of communication and judgment embodied in that single, poorly chosen word. He reinforces this by repeating the witness's own concessions, ensuring the admission of ambiguity is the key takeaway. Similarly, with the director regarding the EPSCoR program, his logic is brutally direct. He presents a single damning piece of evidence. For 44 years, the program designed to distribute research funding more widely has failed, with money remaining concentrated in just 10 states. He dismisses any discussion of new initiatives or future commitments as irrelevant against the weight of this 4-decade failure, effectively framing the agency as chronically inept. Kennedy's attitude is the engine that drives his logical attacks. His tone is consistently confrontational, yet carefully calibrated. He opens with sarcasm, questioning Dr. Bernstein's infinite wisdom, immediately establishing a dominant, skeptical posture. Throughout the exchanges, his interruptions are not random, but strategic. They serve to cut off explanations he deems to be political spin and constantly reset the conversation to his chosen focus. When the director attempts to build rapport by mentioning he is also from a small state, Kennedy swiftly cuts him off. "I want you to answer my question." "Don't answer my question." Answer my question. This aggressive control is a performance of accountability. It signals to the audience that he is their champion, refusing to be placated by the typical rhetoric of Washington bureaucrats. His choice of words is plain and direct, contrasting sharply with the academic or technical jargon of the witnesses, further enhancing his image as a man of the people holding the elite to account. Perhaps his most formidable skill is his ability to react and adapt to maintain control of the narrative. He is an active, not a passive, questioner. When Dr. Bernstein attempts to reframe the definition of transitory to fit the actual events, Kennedy doesn't debate the new definition. He simply reiterates his original, simpler question, effectively invalidating the witness's entire premise. His handling of the NASA administrator is a masterstroke of political leverage. He begins with a parochial concern, the decaying administrative buildings at the Michoud Assembly Facility. When the administrator responds by citing a $5 billion agency-wide infrastructure deficit, a classic bureaucratic deflection, Kennedy does not get drawn into a debate about national priorities. Instead, he pivots instantly, transforming the administrator's problem into his opportunity. He seeks and secures a direct commitment that once Congress appropriates the money, Michoud will be a priority. He successfully turns a general complaint into a specific, actionable promise. This demonstrates an acute understanding of how to use the hearing not just for oversight, but for tangible political outcomes. In conclusion, Senator Kennedy's questioning is a calculated and highly effective form of political theater. He simplifies complex issues into clear, morally charged narratives, employs an aggressive and commanding demeanor to control the flow of information, and expertly adapts his tactics to trap witnesses and extract concessions. It is a performance designed less for his colleagues in the room and more for the court of public opinion. He successfully portrays himself as a relentless truth seeker, cutting through bureaucratic obfuscation to demand simple answers on behalf of the American people. The question of whether this style serves genuine inquiry or merely political grandstanding remains open. What do you think of this strategy? Is this tough accountability, or is it political theater? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis.